Manchester United fans, stop scrolling. Lucy Noella here. Big news just dropped at Old Trafford today. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you never miss any United updates. Manchester United entered the new year with hope of building momentum, but the frustrating home draw against Wolves quickly reminded everyone why this January matters so much. Playing at Old Trafford against a team sitting at the bottom of the Premier League, United had control, territory and chances. What they did not have was the sharpness and calm needed to finish the job. When the final whistle blew, it felt less like a single poor result and more like a summary of the season so far. This was a game United were expected to win, not debate. Dropping points in fixtures like this has become a worrying pattern, and it continues to slow down any real push up the table. Supporters left the stadium asking the same old questions about balance, depth and consistency. Effort is clearly there, but effort alone has not been enough. When pressure arrives, the same weaknesses keep appearing in midfield control, defensive security and attacking ruthlessness. Ruben Amorim is feeling that strain more than anyone. Injuries are piling up, form is inconsistent, and options are limited. Week after week, he is forced to reshuffle, often relying on players who are either not fully fit or not ideally suited to the roles they are being asked to play. The Wolves match highlighted how thin the margins are right now. United are not far from being competitive, but they are also not strong enough to paper over their flaws without help. That is why the January 2026 transfer window is being viewed internally as an opportunity to fix specific problems rather than tear everything down and start again. The club does not see this as a month for panic buys or flashy headlines. Instead, the focus is on targeted reinforcements that can immediately raise the level of the squad and support Amorim's ideas on the pitch. Midfield sits at the heart of those discussions. United's need for control, especially in the defensive midfield role, has been obvious for months. The number 6 position remains the clearest priority, with the club open to bringing in at least one, and possibly two, midfielders depending on who leaves. Elliot Anderson is highly rated internally, while Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba remain on the radar. However, there is a major obstacle. None of their clubs are willing to sell in the middle of the season. That reality underlines another key theme of United's January plans. Any arrivals are likely to depend on exits. The squad is already stretched, and the club is unwilling to weaken itself further by sending players out on straight loans with no guarantees in return. This has complicated several situations, especially in midfield, where uncertainty surrounds some of the most important names. Kobbie Mainoo is one of them. Interest from Napoli has grown, and the player himself would be open to a loan move for regular football. United, however, are reluctant to allow him to leave. Aware of how thin their midfield options already are, Manuel Ugarte's situation also remains unresolved, while Casemiro presents a particularly delicate case. He is approaching the final stage of his contract, earns significant wages, and no firm decision has yet been made on whether January is the right moment to part ways. Up front, clarity is also needed. United have looked short of ideas and confidence in attack at crucial moments, and that has fed into discussions about adding versatility and energy. Antoine Semenyo is a name that keeps coming up. United explored a move last summer and revisited it this winter, attracted by his flexibility across the front line and his fixed $65 million release clause. From a transfer fee perspective, the deal was manageable. From a wage perspective, it was not. That point is important because it reveals how United are approaching this window. According to reports, the club is determined to stick to a defined wage structure. Even players they admire will not be signed if it means breaking that framework. United want players who genuinely buy into the project, not those motivated mainly by salary or status. It is a clear shift in mindset, one that suggests discipline rather than desperation. Defensive cover is also being discussed, though again, only if the right opportunity presents itself. There is no appetite for short-term fixes that create bigger problems later. Every potential move is being weighed carefully against long-term squad planning and financial control. All of this means January may be quieter than some fans expect. Significant movement is far from guaranteed, but that does not mean nothing will happen. Inside the club, there is a strong belief that smart, targeted business could be the difference between drifting through the second half of the season and actually pushing forward. The Wolves draw may have felt like a missed chance, but it also served as a clear warning. Manchester United are close, yet still short. This window is not about headlines or hype. It is about solving real problems, restoring balance and giving Ruben Amorim the tools he needs to turn control into results. If United get their decisions right now, this frustrating season could still find a positive direction. If they do not, nights like the one against Wolves may continue to define their campaign. The January transfer window is getting closer, and once again, one familiar name is starting to dominate the rumors: Ruben Neves. This is a player Premier League fans know very well, and now his future is suddenly wide open. With a reduced transfer fee on the table, big English clubs are paying attention, and Manchester United fans are watching every move closely. Ruben Neves left the Premier League in 2023 when he joined Al Hilal, a move that surprised many at the time. Since then, the Portuguese midfielder has been a key figure for the Saudi club. He has already made 114 appearances, scoring 15 goals, and showing the same leadership, vision, and long-range shooting ability that made him famous in England. Before that move, Neves spent 6 strong seasons at Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he became a club icon. Across all competitions, he played 253 games for Wolves and scored 30 goals, many of them unforgettable strikes from outside the box. Because of that history, it is easy to understand why Premier League clubs are still interested. Neves is only 28 years old, experienced, calm on the ball, and proven in English football. For a club like Manchester United, who are still searching for consistency and leadership in midfield, he looks like a ready-made solution. If he were to return to England, Neves could quickly become an important part of Ruben Amorim's system, offering control, passing quality, and tactical intelligence. Reports suggest that Manchester United have already been in contact with Neves, even if no official bid has been made yet. This shows that the interest is real, not just media noise. However, the situation is not simple. Al Hilal are keen to keep their midfielder and have offered him a new improved 2-year contract. That puts the decision firmly in Neves' hands. He must now choose between staying in Saudi Arabia with a fresh deal or returning to the Premier League for a new challenge. What makes this story even more interesting is the transfer fee. According to TalkSport, Al Hilal are now willing to accept offers of $15 million or more if Neves decides not to sign the new contract. This is a significant drop from the previously reported $20 million asking price. In today's market, $15 million for a player of Neves' quality and experience looks like a bargain. That lower fee has immediately caught the attention of several clubs. Manchester United are not the only ones watching. Newcastle United and Leeds United have also been linked with the midfielder, showing that there could be real competition if Neves opens the door to a move. Still, despite all the talk, United have not yet made a formal approach as the January window approaches. Everything seems to be on pause until Neves makes a final decision about his contract. For now, fans will have to wait. The next move belongs to Ruben Neves. Once he decides whether to commit his future to Al Hilal or not, the transfer race could move very quickly. If he turns down the new deal, Premier League clubs will be ready to act. And if Manchester United truly want him, this could be their chance to secure a proven midfielder at a reduced price. As the countdown to January continues, all eyes remain on Neves and Manchester. One decision could change everything. And the next few weeks may tell us whether this familiar Premier League star is about to make a dramatic return to England or stay where he is. Rumors like this are exactly why football never sleeps. Just when fans think they have heard it all, a claim appears that stops everyone in their tracks. Over the festive period, one of the most astonishing stories of the year surfaced from Spain. Manchester United, it was claimed, were preparing to smash their all-time transfer record and spend a mind-blowing $174 million to sign Jude Bellingham from Real Madrid. The idea alone was enough to send social media into meltdown, spark endless debates, and give supporters something dramatic to argue about during the holiday break. But as quickly as the story exploded, the reality came crashing down. Jude Bellingham is not just another big-name player. He is one of the most valuable footballers on the planet. Since arriving at Real Madrid from Borussia Dortmund in a deal worth around $90 million, the England star has gone from highly rated prospect to global superstar. Now, in his 3rd season at the Bernabeu, Bellingham has delivered performances that fully justify the huge investment Real Madrid made in him. With 43 goals and 32 assists in just 120 appearances, his impact has been nothing short of sensational. For a midfielder still only 22 years old, those numbers are extraordinary. Despite this success, reports emerged suggesting that Manchester United were plotting a sensational move to make Bellingham the face of a new era at Old Trafford. According to those claims, United were willing to spend close to $200 million to lure him back to England, with Chelsea and Manchester City also said to be watching closely. The story painted a picture of Real Madrid potentially facing doubts over Bellingham's future, with the door supposedly open for a historic transfer. However, when the noise settled and reliable sources were contacted, the truth was very different. People close to Real Madrid and to the player himself were quick to shut the rumors down completely. In fact, the response from Madrid sources was brutally honest. The idea that Jude Bellingham could be leaving anytime soon was described as laughable. There were no negotiations, no hidden tensions, and no doubts behind the scenes. Real Madrid are delighted with Bellingham, and Bellingham is equally happy in Madrid. The England midfielder is seen as a central pillar of Real Madrid's future plans. Club president Florentino Perez views him as a long-term leader, someone who can carry the club forward for the next decade. While Bellingham did need a short period to adjust to Xabi Alonso's tactical system, he has now fully adapted and is once again one of the first names on the team sheet. His life off the pitch in Spain is also settled, helped further by the arrival of close friend Trent Alexander-Arnold in the Spanish capital, giving him a familiar presence away from the game. If there is any concern at all in Bellingham's mind heading toward 2026, it has nothing to do with club football. His only question mark revolves around his role with the England national team. Thomas Tuchel's arrival as England manager has sparked some tension, with reports suggesting the two have clashed in the past. While there is no serious belief that Bellingham will be dropped or sidelined, there has been speculation about how Tuchel plans to use him tactically, and whether he will be given the freedom that has made him so effective at club level. While Jude Bellingham remains firmly out of reach, Manchester United's interest in strengthening their midfield is very real. The club is preparing for significant changes in that area over the next 3 transfer windows. This is not a minor rebuild. It is a structural overhaul aimed at fixing long-standing problems that have held the team back. United are targeting younger, dynamic Premier League midfielders who can grow with the club rather than headline-grabbing superstars. Names like Adam Wharton, Carlos Baleba, and Elliot Anderson are all high on United's list. These players fit the profile United are now prioritizing: energy, athleticism, tactical intelligence, and long-term potential. Moves for these targets are more likely in the summer, something that has already been confirmed by respected transfer sources. The club's strategy is shifting away from emotional signings and toward building a more balanced squad. As part of this midfield reshuffle, uncertainty surrounds the future of Bruno Fernandes. Despite being captain and one of the most creative players at the club, his long-term role is no longer guaranteed. Fernandes has publicly expressed frustration with how he has been treated, adding weight to claims that major changes are coming. His comments have only reinforced the belief that United are entering a new phase where no player is untouchable. Meanwhile, outgoings are becoming just as important as arrivals. Manuel Ugarte, who arrived for a fee of around $50.7 million, could be on his way out far sooner than expected. 2 of his international teammates have reportedly stepped in to influence his future, and a January exit is now gathering serious momentum. United appear open to moving him on if the right opportunity presents itself. Another name facing an uncertain future is Joshua Zirkzee. The Dutch forward has struggled to fully establish himself, and interest from Serie A is growing. Roma are pushing hard to bring him back to Italy, but new manager Ruben Amorim faces 2 major decisions before approving any deal. Zirkzee's departure would free up space in the squad, but United must be careful not to weaken their attacking options without a clear replacement in place. On the incoming side, attention is also turning to continental Europe. Reports from Italy suggest that Manchester United are increasingly confident of landing a French star in a deal worth around $50 million next summer. While details remain closely guarded, it underlines United's intention to strengthen smartly rather than chase impossible dreams. The Jude Bellingham story, while dramatic, ultimately highlights the gap between fantasy and reality in modern football reporting. Big names generate clicks, excitement, and endless debate. But not every rumor has substance. In this case, the idea of Manchester United signing Bellingham may sound thrilling, but it simply does not reflect the truth on the ground. For United fans, the real story is not about impossible signings, but about the steady, sometimes uncomfortable process of rebuilding. Changes are coming, big decisions will be made, some familiar faces may leave, and new ones will arrive with less fanfare but greater purpose. While Jude Bellingham remains a Real Madrid star and very much at home in Spain, Manchester United's future will be shaped by smarter planning, patience, and a clear vision. Football thrives on dreams, but success is built on reality. And right now, the reality is clear. Jude Bellingham is staying put, and Manchester United are focused on a different path forward, one that could finally lead them back to where they believe they belong. Thanks for watching. Now I want to hear from you. What's your reaction to this United news? Drop a comment, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss the next update.